Hello everybody, welcome to the first ever video on Jones Racing Engines YouTube channel. Right here we've got the very infamous Predator 212. Had a customer bring it in because they were riding it, it blew a bunch of smoke, and now it's locked up. I hear some, can you hear it? I hear some clinging in the top end. So first things first, we are going to go ahead and get straight into the top end. I guarantee you they pulled the governor, which it looks like they did, but left the little bracket back there, so more than likely they didn't change out the valve springs and it probably dropped a valve. First things first, go ahead and take the header off. It's up to you how you decide to start. I'm going to start by taking these two 13mm bolts off right here. If my 13's down there. That's the frame right there. I don't know what that is, but that's the frame. So 13mm to pull this bolt and this bolt. Sorry, I got to get used to this camera angle on my head. But I'm gonna pull these just to make working with this thing a little bit lighter. I do have an impact, but I'm not sure how the quality of this is gonna sound without a microphone. This is just a test run. Gotta angle this down just a little bit more. There we go, so that way you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so you got your two 13mm bolts. Set them over there. One thing I cannot stress enough is when you're working on an engine is a clean work surface. Before I even put this motor up here, I'd super cleaned this and wiped it down so it's nice and degreased. Just a clean work surface usually helps cleanliness and helps your engine run better by keeping sand and stuff out of it. Alrighty, so got the header off. Exhaust gasket definitely was not lining up. Looks like it might be starting to blow. Set that over there. That gasket's pretty much caked on there, so we're not going to worry about that. Spinning around to over here. These two bolts right here are going to be two 10mm. I am going to try my impact on this. Got an extension on there. Pull that one. Pull that one, set that off to the side, turn that off, we can work that off, and a bunch of gas just come out. Okay, so this is your air filter. Your air filter does live in here, which, alrighty, that's definitely not a good sign. That's supposed to go in there like that. We're going to set that right up there with the two 10mm bolts that go with, or nuts that go with it. Got a little fuel line for that right there. We're just going to route that up there. Never mind. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the carb here. It's a pretty clever throttle mechanism. They got dual springs, ran right up to there. It's a little stiff, but they were using a thumb throttle on there, so I guess it worked. And the bike just fell over because it don't have a kickstand. Alright, anyway, gonna grab a pair of needle nose pliers, come right down in here and pop this fuel line off of here, or not, that works too. Why is that not coming off? The clip is really rusted, I will say that. Yeah, it's definitely really rusted, and that fuel line needs to be replaced. Alright, we'll just skip that one for now. Grab a 8mm, don't throw it. Stick it on the impact. This is a Harbor Freight impact too, by the way. Best little purchase I have ever made. going to be a Harbor Freight impact. Biggest tip I can also give you is put your tools back when you're done. So now this should just lift right off of here, or drop the throttle linkage. We're going to put that right back there before we forget where it goes. And with the 2 bolts that hold it in, just so that way we can keep track of parts and make sure they get everything back that they had. Definitely dirty under here. Slide that up out the way. I could probably pull this off as a unit, seeing that the bolt's not there. 10 mil. Come down here and crack these 10mm nuts loose on the gas tank. Now I should just be able to, nope. Okay, so we are gonna have to pull this off as well, because I don't think there's gonna be a need to pull that whole unit off, or the blower housing I should say, just for the fact that it sounds like it's in the top end. But we're gonna go ahead and pull that off. We'll set that over here so I don't get a bunch of gas everywhere all over my workbench. Stay right there. Yeah, it definitely sounds like it dropped a valve. We'll leave that on there. Pull that off. Now for your spark plug, we're going to be looking at spark plug socket. Go ahead and pull that. Just pull the spark plug out. You're just removing it. You're not putting it back in there. Alright, so these 2 go right here with the gas tank. And then this right here, this was one of the blower housing bolts. It went right back there. Had to remember where that come from. Alright, so first we're going to do the grand reveal of under the valve cover to check and see what's happened in here. Alrighty, grand reveal. What are we gonna have? Place your bets down in the comments on what we're gonna have. I bet a dropped valve. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, it didn't break a valve, it broke a rocker arm. Yeah. It broke a rocker arm. There it is. And that valve is sitting down in there, probably beat to hell. Yeah, it broke a valve. Or not broke a valve. Why do I keep saying broke a valve? It broke a rocker arm. Fish that piece out. It broke a rocker arm. Yep, sure did. Broke it good fashion too. Get clean in half. I don't see any other damage in there. I mean, the seal is shot for the intake valve. Both keepers are gone for the retainer. So if I pull this head off, I guarantee you there is a valve in there. So I know that's going to be for the valve cover. Put this gasket on there. That goes to the carb. Yeah, that's not a pretty sight. I was not expecting a broke rocker arm. I was kind of hoping for just a simple dropped valve, but I guess life's never that easy. Go ahead and pull this head off. Got two 8mm bolts right down there for your heat shield. Pull that 8mm socket off and grab your 13 for your head bolts. Oh, edit that out. That's a 12mm. Why did I just had a 13 sitting here? Edit that out. It's going to be a 12mm. 12mm for your head bolts. Alright, found one that the Harbor Freight Impact cannot do. Found two that the Harbor Freight Impact cannot do. That is something, son. Alright. Yeah, if you keep seeing me look over here, I've got my phone set up over here in the corner. Just so that way I can see what I'm looking at. So we reach. There it is. Don't mind my shop floor, it's a bit bad. Alright. See, there's another freaking 13mm. Put that one up there. Alright, so what we are going to do, put the extension on here with the 12mm. Break this bad boy loose. Probably didn't need the freaking extension, but that motherfucker's torque. There we go. Alright. Now that we got those broke free. There's your 4 head bolts. Right there, those are your 2 heat shields. Now, let's look at the catastrophe that this is. Oh, yes. Yes, sir, that is... You see the bend in that valve. Yes, sir. That valve is shot. How's the push rod looking? Push rod's bent. They were really turning this thing up. And look at that push rod. That's not even straight. That push rod, is it still straight? Set the head over there. Yeah, that push rod's still straight, so that one's still good. This one, on the other hand, that's not straight. So that's garbage, right along with that bent valve. Just gonna set all this stuff over here. So that way when I call the customer, I have pictures of what all happened. Valve bent, push rods bent. Pistons nicked up pretty good. It's got some gas in there, so it was running when it was shut down, or shot, I should say. Let's clean that up a little bit. Yeah, piston kissed the valve. Let's take a look on the inside of this head. This be a good cause for a racing head right here. And there just went the guide. The head's actually not too terribly bad. It's definitely had the valve stem hit right there plenty of times. Looks like it may have hit right there as well, and right there and right there. This head is definitely beat up. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Like right there and right down in there in your port, there is your guide that sits down in there like so. Where does it go in there like that? Hell, I don't know. I've actually never had this happen, but it's definitely got the metal deformed. So this is what he wants to do. But that is going to be the autopsy of this Predator 212 CC. No need to go into the bottom end, is it was all in the top end, which is surprising. It been a valve, been a push rod, messed the head up pretty good, and valve made love to piston. So that's pretty much going to do it. There was no need for me to even tear into the bottom end. It was all in the top end. Other than that, I guess I will see you for part 2, which will be reassembly and what the customer wants to do with it. If y'all are looking to get your Predator 212 or 196 kart racing engine, whatever engine you may have, seeing a small engine, feel free to give me a call at area code 850-295-3230. I do build a lot of small engines. Right there I've got a stage 2 Predator 212 going on a mini bike right out there. Let's see if you can see it. There we go. Right out there is going to be another stage 2 Predator 212 that is already on a mini bike. It had a 22 mil Mikuni, but the customer decided to go back with the stock carburetor on that build as well. So if you're looking to get it built, whatever the case may be, feel free to shoot me a phone call, text message. Look us up on Facebook at Jones Racing Engines, and we will get back with you as soon as we can. Thank you, and have a great day. Alrighty, y'all, welcome back to Jones Racing Engines YouTube channel. This right here is going to be the same Predator that was in part 1 with the bent valve right here, the broke rocker arm, the messed up head right down in there, bent push rod. So it's the continuation of that. I was turning it over by hand. For one, there's plenty of metal shavings right there on my finger, very, very gritty. Of course it's not going to do it now, but there was a noise coming from the bottom end, so we're going to pull the bottom end apart and make sure that the bottom end was good as well. I've already drained the oil out of this engine, so it won't make a mess, but we're going to pull these 10mm bolts right here. We're going to take a look at what's going on down here. Oh, nope, still leaking oil. Very shiny oil, but toss that in a bucket. Let's see what we got going on down here. Got a new side cover gasket, so I'm not worried about that. Alright, the governor got a washer right there from the governor. Okay. Another piece of the governor right there. This all appears to be fine. Let me grab a flashlight. Oh God. Nope, camshaft is broke. Alright, so further internal does show camshaft broke. So that's going to have to be replaced. That seems to be fine. Lifters, fine. Check the intake lifter. It's fine. We'll pull out the measure.